Long ago, in a place beyond the hills and the golden fields, there was a forest known as the Whispering Forest. It wasn't like other forests, busy with the noise of crows or crackling branches. No, this forest was quiet, calm, like a long, deep breath held in the hush of night. The trees swayed gently, and when the wind passed through their leaves, it sounded like someone humming a lullaby just for you. In the heart of this peaceful forest lived a small creature named Aloan. Aloan was a forest fox, not a loud or mischievous one, but a soft-footed, curious little fox with fur the color of dawn and eyes that shimmered like silver stars. Every evening, as the sky turned from gold to lavender and then to navy blue, Aloan would sit beneath the great owl tree and listen to the forest sigh. The moon would rise slowly above the treetops, casting a gentle glow across the land. The moonlight felt like a warm blanket, and all the woodland creatures would begin to yawn and tuck themselves into nests, dens, and burrows. But tonight was special. As Aloan watched the stars blink into view, she heard a new sound, a delicate bell-like chime that floated down from the sky. It was soft, barely there, like the tinkling of wind chimes far, far away. She tilted her head, ears twitching. The sound came again, just a bit closer this time, wrapped in the breeze. "What is that?" Aloan whispered to no one in particular. The old owl, who lived in the tree above her, opened one eye and gave a slow blink. "It is the moon's call," he said in a voice made of rustling pages and echoing cave walls. "It comes once every 1,000 nights. It means the moon is inviting someone to walk with her, across the sky." Aloan's eyes widened. "Across the sky?" "Yes," the owl nodded. "But only those who walk gently, listen deeply, and dream while awake." Aloan felt her little heart flutter like a soft breeze through tall grass. Without another word, she stepped into the quiet woods, following the chime's fading echo. Part 2, The Path of Glowing Stones. As Aloan padded gently through the forest, she noticed that the path beneath her paws had begun to glow. Tiny stones, smooth and round, lit up with a cool, silvery light, as if they had been kissed by moonbeams. They formed a trail that wound through the woods like a ribbon made of dreams. Birds were already tucked in, and the air smelled faintly of lavender and pine. Somewhere nearby, a brook sang softly, its water slow and steady. Every so often, Aloan stopped to listen, not to anything in particular, but just to the stillness. A hedgehog, half asleep, peeked from behind a mushroom and gave Aloan a drowsy nod. "Following the moon's path, are you?" he murmured. "I think so," Aloan whispered. "Then remember to breathe slowly and feel the earth," he said before curling back into a ball. Aloan continued on, step by step, guided by the glowing stones and the quiet pulse of the forest. The trees above her opened like a canopy of lace, and through them, she saw the moon, round and bright, smiling down at her. "You're doing just fine," a voice seemed to say, not out loud, but somewhere inside her, like a memory of comfort. Aloan didn't need to rush. She didn't need to know exactly where she was going. She just needed to keep walking, slowly, peacefully, in time with the night. Part 3, The Gentle River and the Starlight Boat. After what felt like both a long time and no time at all, Aloan reached the edge of a wide, still river. The surface reflected the sky so perfectly that it looked like she was staring into another world, a world made only of stars and soft night. At the riverbank waited a small boat, woven from reeds and starlight, bobbing gently in the current. A heron stood beside it, tall and calm. "The river knows the way," said the heron, motioning with his beak. "You don't need to steer. Just lie down and rest." Aloan stepped into the boat and curled up at its center. The heron pushed off gently with one wingtip, and the boat drifted out into the middle of the river. The water made almost no sound, just a soft swish here, a little ripple there. Above, the stars twinkled slowly, like they were breathing too. Aloan let her eyes half close. The world rocked gently beneath her. She wasn't sure if she was floating down the river or drifting into a dream. Clouds like soft pillows passed overhead. One looked like a rabbit. One looked like a wing. One looked like nothing at all, just the shape of peace. The boat glided on and on. Part 4, The Sky Bridge. At some point, when the boat had stopped and the world had turned silver blue, Aloan opened her eyes to find herself at the edge of the sky. Yes, the very edge. Before her, a glowing bridge stretched out, not above the river, not across the land, but up, up, up into the stars. It was made of glass and wind and moonlight, and it shimmered with every step. Aloan felt no fear. She placed one paw onto the bridge. It held her. She placed another. It welcomed her. Step by gentle step, she climbed into the sky. Each breath she took filled her with stillness. The stars around her blinked in greeting. The moon, now larger than ever, was waiting at the top of the bridge. Her light wrapped around Aloan like a lullaby. "You've come," the moon said, her voice like the quietest music. "I followed your call," Aloan whispered. "You followed your heart," the moon replied, smiling. "Now rest." Aloan curled up on a soft crescent of moonbeams. Around her, the sky whispered. Below her, the world turned slowly in sleep. There were no more footsteps to take. No more questions to ask. Only calm. Only breath. Only dreams. Part 5, Return to the Forest. By the time the first soft rays of dawn touched the treetops, Aloan was back beneath the great elm tree. She stretched slowly and yawned, her paws still tingling with moonlight. The owl blinked once. Did you walk with her? I think I dreamed with her, Aloan said, her voice full of sleep. The forest stretched and stirred. A new day was beginning. But somewhere, hidden in the wind and the rustle of leaves, there was still the softest hint of that bell chime, waiting for the next 1000th night. And Aloan? She closed her eyes again, curled into the soft moss, and let the forest's hush carry her back into sleep. Part 6, The Garden of Time. Aloan's dreams were different now. Softer. Slower. She wasn't quite awake, but she wasn't fully asleep either. She found herself walking through a garden, one she had never seen before, but it felt familiar, like it had always been waiting just beyond a memory. The air was warm and carried the scent of jasmine and soft rain. The trees here were silver and gold, their branches covered in glowing petals that shimmered and fell like snow. Each petal that touched the ground made a sound, tiny chimes, like laughter whispered from stars. At the garden center was a clock, but not like any clock Aloan had ever seen. It had no numbers, no ticking hands, just a pool of still water. In the water, she could see moments, not just from her life, but from the lives of every creature in the forest. A hedgehog sleeping through a storm. A squirrel laughing in its sleep. A deer dreaming of green meadows. The pool showed time not as something that rushed forward, but as something that breathed, slowly, deeply, like a lullaby. Aloan, said a voice as soft as petals falling. It came from the garden itself. Yes, she whispered, not needing to speak out loud. This is the place between moments, the voice said. It only opens to those who walk gently through their dreams. What do I do here? She asked. Nothing, the voice said kindly. Just be. So Aloan sat at the edge of the pool and watched time unfold, not rushing, not skipping ahead, just gently opening like a flower in moonlight. And as she watched, she began to feel her own breath slow again. Her heart was soft. Her body lighter than air. The wind moved through the golden branches and carried a lullaby. Sleep in peace, oh gentle friend. The night is long, the stars will bend. Time will hold you in its hand. And dreams will guide you through the land. Aloan closed her eyes and let herself drift again, not away, but deeper, into the folds of the night. Part 7, The Lantern Bearers. Aloan awoke, or thought she did, to the sound of soft paws walking beside her. She opened her eyes and saw a procession of quiet animals, a bear cub, a fawn, a hare, and even a raccoon. Each carried a tiny lantern glowing with golden light. They walked slowly, in a line, without speaking. Where are you going? She asked. The bear cub looked at her with eyes full of dreams. To light the forest. Why? So the night never feels lonely. Aloan rose and joined the procession. She was given a lantern, too. It felt warm in her paw, but not heavy. They walked together under an endless sky, their little lights bobbing like fireflies. No one hurried. No one stumbled. It was enough just to be part of something gentle. As they walked, the lanterns left trails of light behind them, tiny paths that shimmered for a moment before dissolving into stardust. Aloan looked up and realized, the stars themselves were lanterns from long ago, still glowing with the light of those who had dreamed before her. She smiled. In the distance, the moon watched silently, proud and still. Part 8, The Return to Morning. Eventually, the lanterns began to fade, not with sadness, but with rest. One by one, the animals curled into the grass and moss, letting their lights flicker out as sleep took them again. Aloan walked back to the great owl tree, her paws barely touching the earth now. She was lighter than before, like she had left something behind, a worry, a noise, a weight she no longer needed. The forest was still and safe. She nestled back beneath the branches and closed her eyes. The owl opened one eye, watching her with a calm wisdom. You've seen the dream beneath the dream, he said softly. Now let the morning come. And as the first birds began their morning song, and the sky turned from blue to gold again, Aloan smiled in her sleep. Because even though the world was waking, she would always carry that peace, the hush of the whispering forest, the soft hum of the moonlight, the glow of the lanterns, and it would stay with her through every day, and into every night that followed.